Welcome to The Explainer, where we dig into the source material to answer the big questions. And today's question? Well, it's a massive one. Can money actually solve climate change? We're going to skip the opinions and follow the hard data to find out if all this green finance talk is just hype or if it's our best hope. So let's dive right in. The question really boils down to this. How do we pay to save the planet? We talk a ton about new tech and government policies, but at the end of the day, this whole transition, it runs on cold, hard cash. So the real question is, where's it all going to come from? And the scale of this thing, it is just staggering. We're not talking about millions or billions. We're talking about trillions of dollars. We need to basically rewire the entire global financial system, get all that money out of polluting industries and into clean ones. So how in the world do we actually pull that off? Well, lucky for us, we've got a kind of roadmap. This whole explainer is based on a really big new study, a meta-analysis. What that means is researchers took 30 different peer-reviewed studies, crunched all the numbers together, and basically tried to answer one huge question. Is this new wave of financial tools actually moving the needle on climate change?
Okay, so what exactly is in this new financial toolbox? We're going to look at a few key tools. These are financial instruments, right? Designed specifically to funnel cash toward green solutions. Let's break down the three big ones.
All right, first up, green bonds. The idea here is actually pretty simple. Think of it like this. An organization needs money for a project, so it issues a bond, which is basically a loan. But here's the catch. There's one really strict rule. Every single penny raised has to go to a certified green project. We're talking a new solar farm, an electric bus line, you name it. It's like a direct pipeline for green investment. Okay, next we've got carbon pricing. Now this one's a little different. Instead of funding the good stuff, it makes the bad stuff, polluting, more expensive. You put a price on carbon emissions, either with a tax or one of those cap-and-trade systems, and suddenly companies have a very real financial reason to clean up their act. It's a pretty powerful push. And the third one? Sustainability-linked loans, or SLLs. Now these are really clever. Instead of funding one specific project, these loans reward a company for its overall green performance. So if a business hits its emission reduction targets for, say, its factories, the bank actually gives them a better interest rate on their loan. It's a straight-up financial reward for getting greener.
Okay, so these tools sound great on paper, right? But here's the million-dollar question, or maybe the trillion-dollar question. Do they actually work in the real world? Let's see what the data from all those studies really tells us.
All right, finding number one. The verdict is in. Green bonds are working. The analysis found a clear, positive, and, statistically significant link between these bonds and what happens in the real world. They are absolutely channeling money into renewables and other clean projects, and you can actually measure the effect on emissions. And just how big is that impact? Well, check out this number. According to the data, projects funded with these green bonds see an average cut in greenhouse gas emissions of 12 to 15%. Now, that's not some pie-in-the-sky model. That's a real, tangible reduction happening on the ground. Next up, the study also confirms something a lot of people have suspected for a while. Putting a price on carbon is one of the most effective things we can do. It's simple, really. When it costs you money to pollute, you find ways to stop polluting. Companies respond. And you can see the proof right in the numbers. Take a place like California, which has a pretty strong cap-and-trade system. What have they seen? Emission reductions in the ballpark of 10 to 20%. And here's the kicker. Their economy kept growing the whole time. That's a huge deal. So what happens when you put it all together? When the researchers mashed up the data from all 30 studies, they found that these financial tools, as a group, led to an average emission reduction of about 11%. The bottom line is pretty clear. These things are making a real dent. But, and trust me, this is a really big but, these tools are not magic wands. You can't just wave them and fix everything. The study is super clear on this. Their success depends completely on having the right conditions in place. The authors of the study really nailed it. They said success depends on, quote, transparent governance and consistent policy. In plain English, you can't just throw a green bond out there into a policy mess and hope for the best. It's the rules of the game, the framework around the tool that makes all the difference. And you can really break this down into two sides of the same coin. On one side, you've got the ingredients for success. Things like transparent government rules, consistent policies, and really clear reporting so investors know what's going on.
But on the other side, you have the roadblocks. And the biggest one? It's greenwashing. When companies make these big environmental claims that are just not true, that one thing can totally destroy the trust this whole system is built on.
So, what's the big picture here? Where does all this leave us? Well, the data is pointing to a pretty fundamental shift in the future of finance and how it deals with climate. I think the most important takeaway from the study is this: the role of finance is changing. For a long time, the financial world just kind of watched climate change from the sidelines. Now, it's getting off the bench and becoming an active and, honestly, an essential player in the fight. Okay, let's just pull this all together into a few key takeaways. Number one, the data is solid. These financial tools really do cut emissions. Two, and this is the critical part, their power is only unlocked when you have strong, clear policies in place. Three, transparency is everything. Without it, you get greenwashing and trust just disappears. And that leads to the big conclusion. Finance isn't just watching anymore. It's a must-have tool for climate action. And this is probably why this matters so much, especially right now. Because these are market-based tools, they have the potential to work even in a divided political world. They create common ground, right? They align what's good for the planet with what's good for business and the economy. It's a way forward that doesn't necessarily have to get stuck in partisan fighting. Which, of course, leaves us with one last big question. The evidence is pretty clear. The financial world has the tools it needs to make a huge difference. The problem isn't about inventing new solutions anymore. It's about using the ones we have and using them well. So the real question isn't about the tools, it's about us. Do we have the collective will to use them wisely with the kind of transparency and vision this crisis demands?